offer the best grooming products for you, Yes, all natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be your swagger, your style, class, and luxury. We make our products tailor-made for you with high quality, So get in style with the black, company, grooming company. Give you swagger, style, class, and luxury, The black gentleman, company. Give you swagger, style, class, and luxury,
Located at www.theblackgent.com. Yo.
What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B-Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to the Tuesday Tussle for this Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. And we are here to have conversation number 2 on to teach to defeat styles. Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I did a part 1 on this subject because to talk about being able to get a fighter prepared to face come what may in the ring, physically, psychologically, technically, emotionally, it is imperative that the lab, their gym, their institute of instruction and construction, the construction of the fighter, the construction of the fighter's technical capabilities, and the construction of a game plan to have to incorporate for the upcoming match, battle ahead. And fighters need more than one game plan. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, you should have a plan C, D, and E. No, but you should be versatile enough to make necessary adjustments when what you may have initially set out to do may not be effective. And remember, I've said on many occasions on my air here that usually a fighter needs to adjust to the adjustment, meaning that whether it was the guy who incorporated a game plan and it wasn't working, so he switched it up to plan B, the guy who adjusts to plan B may think that he has things sewn up, but the guy who adjusted to plan B should be able to adjust to that adjustment that the opponent makes. So at least 3 ways out of one individual should be set for them to accomplish their goal. Now, we've got a big fight coming up on the 13th. Everybody has been talking about it. Canelo Alvarez against Terrence Bud Crawford. And people have been giving their thoughts and their hopes and being dismissive of one guy over the other, and as such is the case. And lost on the lips of the conversationalists are solid breakdowns of how one can have success over the other. You know what you hear a lot of? Cliches. Size matters. There are weight classes for a reason. Jumping too many weight classes is not a good thing. And so forth and so on. I laugh at all of that stuff. I laugh at it because it's funny how that becomes a talking point, especially when you just don't want to support someone, or you're pining for the lack of success for someone. Bias. But history will teach you over and over and over again it is typically the most versatile of fighters, along with he that has that warrior's spirit and that desire to achieve, albeit there be risks along the way. Sometimes when fighters have achieved a lot of success, financially we're talking in this instance, not necessarily ring success, because the ring success can bring financial. However, that guy who wears those silk pajamas and can call the shots, he may not be as willing to risk everything. He'll have a limit. And that guy going into this fight is Canelo Alvarez. What his limit is, maybe Terrence Bud Crawford can show us. But each and every fighter does have one, especially when he has achieved the type of economic success that Canelo has. You cannot continue to go on and on and on coasting, because there be hungry, rabid wolves in the forest. And they're ready for their day. Is Terrence Bud Crawford one of those? Who knows? We're going to find out on the 13th. And the show is not about those guys. The show is about to teach to defeat styles. Now, when a fighter has a limited range of athleticism, he could be slow of foot or lacking great footwork. He could be ponderous, laborious even, and have that thing about just needing to get his shots off from point A to point B. He has to be schooled in how to achieve the goals. One of the primary lessons is of twofold. You have to be aggressive and defensively responsible at the same time. You have to know and judge, as I said in part 1, just like in driving, judge distance appropriately. And even if this said fighter, his best shots could be hooking, looping shots, a left hook, a right hook, an overhand right, overhand left, uppercuts on the inside. Though those may be the best of what that particular fighter does well, and he could be a shorter guy, like we're gonna use in some of my analogies, we'll use Bud and Canelo for an example, just because of, for convenience sake. Canelo is 5'7", I believe, and has a 60 something inch reach, or nearly a 70 inch reach, or kind of like 68, 69, something like that. I'm not looking at his stats right now, but he's, compact. So his best shots are hooks. Left hook to the liver, left hook to the chin, right counters. A fighter like that needs to have an understanding of the execution of straight punches, because the shortest distance between 2 points, for all of you arithmetic wizards out there, is a straight line. If my best shot is a hook, then the opponent who knows that is prepared to defend against the hook or the looping shot by either being able to step on the inside of those shots when they're launched or feel that they're about to be launched. Step to the side or roll out. Now, to be deceptive, the reason that the fighter with those limitations, with their best shots being the looping shots, needs to master the execution of the shotgun straight shot, a shotgun jab, a shotgun straight right. Why? Because when they are working to get inside and they're sliding to cut that ring off, those two shots, bam, could measure the distance and close it very quickly for that fighter. You see? So just as the guy was looking necessarily to kind of dip inside because he thought the looping shot was coming, bam, that straight shotgun jab right down the middle catches him, or the straight right hand. There is an excellent opportunity to see something like that when you watch film of Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. Chavez was very good at cutting the ring off. But every once in a while he would throw this lead right hand, being an orthodox fighter. The same type of shot that I'm talking about, because Chavez's best punch was the left hook to the liver. That was his best shot. But along the way, having learned to execute and shorten the distance between he and opponents who were looking to move and get out of the way, that lead right hand shot straight from the shoulder was something that they couldn't time, because he learned to let it go. And though he would put snap on it, but not necessarily a lot of power, but snap, stuns you, can cut you, can break your nose, bust your mouth. Trainers who understand what I'm talking about implement this in their fighters' toolbox, because it keeps them in the battle. Yeah. And to be able to keep a fighter in the battle, there's always an opportunity for victory. When a fighter is operating off of limited engagement, that window closes, especially when the opponent is looking to put you in a situation where your attributes cannot be optimized because of their countering of it. Yeah. Salute to the chat. I want to say salute to everybody out there. I'm kind of skipping the roll call this evening because I just wanted to get right into the conversation. I see my brother Junior, the truth is in the building. Junior, you see what I'm sporting here? Remember, I had to hunt you down for this, huh? Almost like I was talking about cutting the ring off, huh? And shooting that shotgun jab or shotgun straight right, huh? I got Junior covered. Cut the ring off on him, y'all. And guess what? I got my Black Gentleman Grooming Company's t-shirt. And I'm sporting it this evening. You see, I'm a true supporter of the game, huh? Where's my support at, huh? Where's it at? Listen, a fighter like Terrence Crawford in this instance going in against Canelo has to be able to optimize what his strengths are, which are his athleticism, his length, particularly that reach, and the fact that he knows how to fight from range to mid-range to inside and up close. The versatility is very good, but it's going to have to be mixed up, not because of the threat of Alvarez, but because of the experience of Alvarez. Now, I don't give him the same type of credit I would give a Roberto Duran, because Roberto Duran was dangerous, because he, taught by Ray Arcel, great trainer, could get opponents to throw the shots that he needed them to throw so that he could be successful in his counterpunching. Roberto Duran gets not enough credit for his ability to be a counterpuncher, and the fact that he could roll with shots and boom, counter, come back. He could give you the impression that you threw a shot that nailed him when it really didn't. He used all the old school tricks, grunting, stomping his foot, to get you to come in and go after him. That's because he didn't want to spend all night chasing you down. Davey Moore, Iran Barkley, Marvin Hagler, to get you in close proximity where he knew how to roll his shoulders and bend at the waist and bob and rock and roll. He could be effective in the trenches. See, sometimes fighters think because they scored knockouts that they can fight. Knocking people out doesn't certify that you're a good fighter. It could certify that you can punch and get a dangerous shot in on an opponent. It might even suggest that you could be accurate, because a lot of that has to do with being accurate. But the good trainers will teach you to set the knockout up, a la what I'm talking about with Roberto Duran. Manos di Pietra, they talk about him being the hands of stone. You know, that, when you hear it, sounds a lot like, oh, he's a power puncher. But he was a KO puncher with accuracy, and a dangerous puncher that could batter you, beat you up, leave you bruised up and everything because of that pinpoint accuracy and punch placement. Punching you just beneath the cheek, that the damn well of the eye ducts get irritated and they start inflaming. Now you got one eye. You can't see some of those trick shots coming. He's throwing that hook, getting you to move your head a certain kind of way so the right hand can rock in there and nail you on the chin, and down you go. That's Roberto Duran. I heard someone criticizing him earlier. And I'll tell you this. He is definitely one of the four kings. But there is a fifth, and that's Wilfredo Benitez. That many people, for whatever reason, omit this great fighter's name from the other three. But I'll tell you, to be able to compete, Duran was a lightweight, was he not? Just to pull up what's important. hate when they do this and they mix everybody up. Hold on. Sometimes you have to. Okay. Pulling up Roberto Duran. A 119 fights this man had with 70 KOs, 16 defeats, was only stopped 4 times. 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. Fought as high as 175 pounds in his career. In his last fight against Hector Camacho in July of 2001, he weighed in at 162. But in his heyday, Roberto boxed at 135 pounds. In the words of my brother Drew Titan, lightweight. Lightweight, baby. So he went all the way up to super middleweight. What are they telling you again about Bud Crawford challenging Canelo? There are weight classes for a reason. Size matters. Wow. Do I have to come in here and dispel that stuff with history? Let me put it in your face a little bit more fierce, because I just used Roberto Duran. Let's come to a modern day champion. A gentleman by the name of Alexander Usyk, the current undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. In his last fight against Daniel Dubois in July of this year, where he stopped Dubois in 5 rounds, he stopped him in the 9th round the first time they fought 2 years prior. He was only 6.5 pounds heavier in this fight with Dubois than the first fight. Basically, he was 227.25. But check these numbers out, people. Since he moved up to the heavyweight division, his first fight at heavyweight after being the undisputed cruiserweight champion. That's under 200 pounds, right? Chaz Witherspoon was 242. Usyk was 215. His next opponent, Derek Chisora, was 255 and a half. He was 217 and a quarter. He won both of those fights, people. Then he took on Anthony Joshua, who at the time was the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Joshua weighed in at 240. He was 221 and a quarter. In their rematch, where he got a split decision win over Joshua, Joshua had put on 4.5 pounds, and he came in 1/4 pound less. Why am I mentioning this? Because Usyk came up from cruiserweight, which is under 200 pounds. And in his 4 biggest fights, we could say 6 because he beat these men twice each, Dubois, Joshua, and Fury. They all outweighed him by at least 12 pounds or more. There are weight classes for a reason. In his rematch against Tyson Fury, Fury decided to balloon all the way up from the first fight's weight of 262 to 281. Now, I'm no mathematician, but what would you say is the heaviest gauge of weights between he and his opponents? It has to be obviously Fury, who weighed 281. That sounds about right for Fury to get in the ring against someone like Zhilei Zhang, doesn't it? But you see, you never thought about Usyk being real powerful against those men, though he hurt both Joshua and Fury in the first fight against both. Joshua, just before the final bell, was looking like he was gonna go out. Fury, in the 9th round of their first fight, was bobbing and rocking and rolling and bouncing from pillar to post, where the ref should have jumped in and gave a count. Once again, being saved by the officials. I don't understand that with him. But anyway, gypsy dust. Usyk wasn't noted for his power at heavyweight, people. Skills pay the bills. Am I correct? So what we're looking at here, as we again use Crawford and Canelo, people could have it all wrong, but history tells you a different story. My favorite fighter, Evander Holyfield, was in the ring with fighters who were at least 10 to 12 plus pounds heavier than he. for his entire career in the heavyweight division. They kept saying he was too small. He was a blown up cruiserweight, and he was blowing heavyweights out of the rankings and the ring. Now, some of you may be saying, well, Stormy, you talking about all these fighters and these fights or whatever. What that has to do with to teach the defeat styles. A complete fighter, regardless his size, can compete, especially if his coaches have prepared him for the possibilities of what transpires on the other side, across the ring from him. Height, reach, weight, strength, movement, durability. I used Duran. I used Usyk. I used Evander as examples. Now I'm going to tell you, power. Punching power. Mike Tyson, some of you all's god in boxing. Had a stretch where he intimidated the hell out of fighters in the heavyweight division. Primarily because when he bolstered on the scene, a lot of the heavyweights at the time were out of shape, druggies, lackluster and unmotivated guys. Guys who had issues with dependency problems. Now there were some top heavyweights at the time. A few of them were starting to age out. Jerry Cooney, Michael Spinks, Greg Page, Bone Crusher Smith, Michael Dokes, soon to be replaced by an assortment of other fighters in the division. But there were a host of fighters that wanted Tyson, but Tyson's people wouldn't put him in against them. A lot of it had to do with his confidence. Oh yeah, he looked intimidating, coming in with no robe, shirtless, walking to the ring with a snarl on his face and everything, and a highlight reel of knockouts against third grade heavyweights. But as soon as he stepped up to world-class opposition, James Quick Tillis, in May of '86, he went the distance for the first time in his career. That followed up with Mitch Blood Green. He went the distance for the second time in his career. So they went back to him fighting other guys that weren't on the level of Green and Tillis. Then when they stepped it up again in August of '86. Jose Ribalta. A tough, hard fight for Mike. Ribalta, a Cuban, was down in the 2nd, 8th, and 10th rounds. The fight was scheduled for 10. When he went down in the 10th round, referee Rudy Battle stopped the fight, but he was on his feet looking to fight back. They gave Mike a TKO victory. The Machine. So there's nothing new under the sun with boxing. But what we began to find out about him, meaning Mike Tyson, is when guys stood up and fought him back and had ability, he had issues. Guys who were well trained, guys who were taught to fight against sluggers, punchers like Mike, exercise distance, range, pump the jab, counter him, catch him coming in. That little upper body movement that he had, yeah, he's very dynamic with that in the first couple of rounds. But after 3, 4, 5 rounds, that slows down. And he's standing straight up, erect. Now your jab can find him at will. See, I talk about these things because I'm trying to get you guys to understand. No man is invincible. You cut us all open, we bleed the same. Some will bleed more profusely than others. But it's right there in your face. So quality trainers will prepare their charges to be able to deal with what's in front. You're gonna get hit. It's gonna hurt. You could get cut. You could bust your hand. The guy isn't always gonna be available for you to make contact. You may have to go get him. In a lot of instances, he's gonna try to come and get you. What are you gonna do about it? There's a lot to be said in this area. And hitting and slapping those funky little gym mitts, that's bullshit. Stick that jab in that guy's belly. You know how you used to see Floyd do that? Why you don't see the big heavyweights doing it? They're the main ones who should be trying to add that to their repertoire. It's nothing new. It's just that it was an old school trick that Floyd would do because Floyd was surrounded by old school fighters, his dad and his uncle Roger. And I'll tell you another thing that prevents you from getting off to a great start. Coming to the ring cold as ice. Not having warmed up properly. I see so many fighters that are not warmed up now. So many of them. I had a conversation with world champion Nonito Donaire. Salute to Nonito and Rachel. Very nice people. And we were having a conversation about him not having a great chance to warm up for a match. And he thought he would start the match faster because he hadn't warmed up. And I told him, I said, why do that? It's like, you got how many rounds to work with? 12. Okay, so what you doing? Trying to start fast. Huh? I told him, I said, you're a veteran fighter now. Why are you trying to fight like a guy who's still wet behind the ears? Well, sometimes, he said, you know, I just get it in my mind. I said, well, stop it. Because you're in a position now where you don't have to do the hard work anymore. Your experience is supposed to remove you from that. You know that old equation that they said? It was two bulls sitting up on the hill, and the younger bull told the older bull, hey dad, let's run down and mess with one of them cows. And the dad say, no, let's walk down and mess with them all. You got 12 rounds to work with. Is your car double parked outside? No. Okay, well, get out there and establish that damn jab. If you didn't warm up in the dressing room, well, as you would like, you can warm up from rounds 3 to 4 with that jab, lateral movement, tying someone up, turning them, pushing them off, getting inside, getting outside. Work! And not at a fast pace, at your desired pace, which is not supposed to be the fast pace. You can keep that opponent thinking, oh, he's about to raise hell, he's about to raise hell. And next thing you know, 4 rounds have gone past. You got a sweat going, now you loose. And the pressure of the first 4 rounds is on the other guy because he's trying to figure out, did I win those rounds? Did he win the rounds? Am I doing enough? Let me do more. The fight begins. He told me, he said, yeah, but I don't care, you know, if you're Emmanuel Stewart. I say, hey, yo, stop right there. So what you're trying to tell me is, as a fighter, even though it be Emmanuel Stewart, you're not going to listen to him? He just looked at me. I said, you might as well not come to the gym, might not as well get in the ring anymore. If you can't listen to someone who has brought so many through the pipeline of success in the sport, a sage, who are you? Take on the counsel. It is there for your betterment, your enrichment, your development, your success. After our conversation, the brother Nonito, and I lovingly call him brother, he called me coach. So salute to Nonito. But I didn't lie to him. I did not lie to him. Sometimes we can get in our own way. But he who has the keys for you to gain access from point A to point Z, you should readily receive those keys and take that journey. Because I guarantee somewhere along the way, you will be enriched for the experience, the education, the wisdom and knowledge being passed on. And I guarantee that there will be moments when you can apply that science and it will work for you. And as J-Man says in the chat there, smarter, not harder. 100%. Those are my thoughts. Now we can hear from my man, the focus ball.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the focus ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a focus ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a focus ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a focus ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a focus ball. When you train with the focus ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the focus ball now.
Yeah. And so we're coming to the end of another tussle, man. Yes. But I thought that I would, extend that conversation on to teach to defeat styles. You see, there's no limitations but the ones that you place before yourself. You have to be able to rise above and beyond your obstacles. It takes work. It's not just going to happen by osmosis. But application is imperative. So with that being said, I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody. Enjoy your week ahead.
Oh, what a nice day. Look at Jessica. Jessica, what are you doing? You know you can't swim. Get away from the water, Jessica. Jessica, get away from the... Oh, my God. Somebody help Jessica, please. She can't swim. Go help Jessica, run. Jessica, no. Oh, my God. No, Jessica. No, the water is pulling her back in. Where's the lifeguard? Lifeguard, hurry up. You can't swim. Jessica, no. Jesus. Lifeguard, please save her. Yes, two lifeguards. Save her, no. Please, Jessica. Oh, look. Hey, that husband is coming. Oh, do one of them dead. Jessica. Hey, please, save her. Jessica. They're coming now. They're here, Jessica.